For the penultimate time in 2022, we welcome you to the Italian F.4 Championship, presented by WSK Promotion, together with the sporting department of the Automobile Club in Italy. Well, as the saying goes in Italian, è sempre bello qui a Mugello. It is always beautiful here at Mugello, the legendary circuit built 1/2 century ago, home of the Italian MotoGP and also the Tuscany Formula One Grand Prix of 2020. Another fantastic field on the grid, 41 cars, of course. Andrea Kimi Antonelli wrapped up the championship yesterday, and the driver from nearby Bologna will start from pole position this morning. The track, thankfully, is dry after a few drops of rain in race one yesterday. What a fantastic sight as the world's most competitive junior motor racing series gets ready to race for the final time here this weekend. The penultimate race this morning, and of course race 3 this afternoon. 41 cars on the grid, not quite a record. That was at Monza 2 weeks ago when it bucketed down rain, unfortunately causing the cancellation of race 3. But here this morning, well, the clouds are clearing. The sun is almost shining. Summer is certainly long gone. We are into autumn time here in Italy, here in the Northern Hemisphere. And it's a dry circuit here this morning. Great to have your company as you're watching race 2, round 7 of the 2022 Italian F4 Championship, the 9th edition of this, the world's most competitive junior motor racing series. Andrea Kimi Antonelli wrapped up the title with a victory yesterday in race 1. Alex Dunn, who starts on grid 4 for race 2 yesterday, finished in 2nd place, and Martinius. Wow, the Norwegian coming storming home for his 2nd podium of the year. But firstly, let's go and hear from the Roman, Valerio Rinicella.
Hi Valerio, last round of the season in almost your home place. How do you feel?
Good. I will do the maximum this last 2 races, and let's see.
Thank you.
Il Romano, the Roman, Valerio Rinicella for AKM Motorsport, starting on the 9th row of the grid alongside Taylor Barnard. We'll try and hear from the English driver for PHM, who had a storming drive yesterday from grid 20, came home to finish inside the top 10 into 7th position. Taylor in car 77, starting alongside Valerio, the AKM Motorsport driver. In fact, let's hear from Taylor, who's down on the grid with Camilla now.
Hi Tyler, storming drive yesterday, a great comeback from the bottom. Can you repeat this performance today?
Yeah, let's hope so. Yesterday was quite a difficult race for me, but we managed to make quite a lot of places, so yeah, let's hope for the same today.
He is a mega talent, the driver from Norwich in England, 2 times. He won the WSK Champions Cup for Team Rosberg in the OK category, also picking up the WSK Euro Series and Super Master Series in the world of WSK kart racing. A fantastic drive yesterday. He's starting a position behind Emo Fittipaldi. Let's hear from the Brazilian now.
Emo, probably your father is watching you from Austin. Yesterday you show a good job. Are you happy with your performance so far?
Yeah, I'm happy, but still we need to work harder to finish more in the front. Yesterday we were just shy of the points. But yeah, I hope now today I can do a better race and finish in the points.
A tough start to 2022 for young Emo, but he's finishing the season with some really strong form. Had a really good race yesterday, finishing just outside the top 10 in 11th position in this 41 car field. And he'll be aiming for another top 10 finish to finish 2022 on a high. We say bon dia to Emerson, who is watching live from Austin, the American Formula One Grand Prix in Texas. His boy Emo on the 8th row of the grid alongside Conrad Lawson, just behind his teammate Martinius. Stenson yesterday finishing in P3, almost caught Alex Dunn. We'll take a look at the grid for you in just a moment. Yes, a great drive from Martinius yesterday, just finishing less than a second behind the Irishman, who's still 2nd in the series as the mechanics leave the grid, which we'll take a look at for you in just a moment. In fact, here we go. This is the grid. The new champion, Antonelli on pole. Rafa Kamada out of 2. Kasper Stuka, Alex Dana. The US racing cars on the second row of the grid. The Prema cars, first row and third row. It is Ugo, the American, and Charlie Wirtz. Arvid Lindblad, the Red Bull Junior, is starting alongside Nikhil Bora, Marcus Aman, Maya Werg out of 10, James Wharton 11, Brando Badoer out of 12, Akshay Bora on debut, alongside Martinius, then Conrad Lawson and Emo, who we just heard from on the 16th grid position. Il Romano, Valerio Rinicella, Taylor Barnard, Il Siciliano, Alfio Spina and Nikita Bedran, the Tuscan, Nicola Lacorte, Jesse Carrasquedo, the Mexican on debut, Alexander Partishev and Valentin Klus, VK out of grid 24. Ivan Dominguez, Elias Perendio, Pedro Perino, the Mozambican, is alongside the Belgian, Jules Castro, Ethan Aisha, William Carlson, Binom Bhakti from Thailand alongside the German Jonas Reed, Giovanni Maschio now with RA's GP, Frederick Lund, Victoria Blockina, Niels Kulin, Ricky Lu from China, Giorgio Marco Danes from Greece, Frasinetti, Ismail Ahmed, and out of grid 41, Jeff Makiels from Monlo Motorsport together with Van Amersfoort Racing. There is the Red Bull Junior, Arvid Lindblad, racing with heavy hearts here this morning as the motor racing, indeed, the sporting world mourns the loss of the great Dietrich Mateschitz overnight. Arvid Lindblad started grid 6 yesterday, but stalled off the line as Brando goes through. Brando, by the way, in car 33 on the 6th row of the grid. A lucky escape for the Londoner. Arvid Lindblad stalling from grid 6 as the rest of the field drove past the Red Bull Junior, who, as we say, racing in the memory of the great Dietrich, who passed away overnight and has given so much to not only the world of motorsport, but indeed the sporting world as well. A visionary, a revolutionary. We pay our respects, we give our condolences to the entire Red Bull family. Nikhil Bora, his younger brother Akshay Bora, racing for the first time in the Italian F.4 Championship. Not too far apart on the grid. It is in fact the first time since Nikhil and Akshay, the New York-born American drivers with the Indian heritage, have raced together since they raced in 60 Mini in WSK World Karting. Both Akshay and Nikhil on the grid. Their father Bunty watching on from, I was going to say America, it may be Singapore. Sorry, Bunty, I don't know where in the world you are at the moment. Obviously looking for a good result. Nikhil in great form on the 8th row of the grid, car 44 for US Racing. And Akshay just a few places behind in car 69 on the 7th row of the grid. Well, the championship was wrapped up yesterday by Andrea Kimi Antonelli, who became just the second Italian driver to win the championship in the Series 90 history. There is the Mercedes AMG Junior in car 12, who will start from pole position. Car 88, O Menino do Brasil, Rafael Kamada, still fighting for second place in the championship, which is currently being held by the Irishman, the kid from County Offaly, out of grid 4, Alex Dunn. The champion on grid 1, the penultimate race of 2022. 41 cars on the grid, and that's not even the biggest field in the series history. Looking for a good result from Kasper just behind in car 37. Suspension damage for the pole yesterday, had to retire out of 7th place as the cars form up on the grid. The PHM team. There is Nikita Bedran's engineer to the left of your screen, Antonio Ortiz Poveda. And great to see the crowd back in the stands. Taylor lights up the rear Pirellis on car 77. A storming drive yesterday to finish in 8th place from grid 20. Van Amersfoort Racing down in pit lane. The penultimate race of 2022. È sempre bello qui a Mugello. Welcome to beautiful Tuscany. The penultimate race of the 2022 season. Kamada has angled car 88 to the right of your screen, aiming towards turn 1, which is half a mile uphill after the start line. The green flag flies at the back of the grid. The 5 red lights for the penultimate time in 2022. We race. Once again, Lindblad stalls. Oh, a disaster for the Londoner in the background, and thankfully the rest of the field go through as Antonelli leads the field uphill into turn 1 for the first time. Dunn on the outside, Stuka on the inside. Rafford tries to round up both of the US racing cars, and the drivers from the Prema Power team, who started 1-2 on the grid, will come out of turn 3 in first and second place. Taylor trying to make his way up through the back in the opening stages of the penultimate race of 2022. There's Lindblad in the background, who thankfully finally has got going as the US racing drivers go side by side down through Matarassi, Borgo San Lorenzo, the opening corners of this, the first race of the morning. There's Maya Werg all over the back of Marcus Amand. Started out of grid 10. She's just ahead of Conrad Lawson, the Iron Dame for Team Iron Lynx, and breathing down her neck, Conrad Lawson and Martinez Stensone. Taylor Barnard around the outside, already making waves and making his way up through the traffic. His countryman, Arvid Lindblad, another stall. That's a disaster after qualifying 6th yesterday and stalling off the line. 7th this morning, thankfully avoided by the rest of the field. Antonelli, a fabulous start for the new champion, who will lead the first lap here this morning. Kamada in second place, that's Kasper Stuka in P3, Alex Dunn P4. Behind him, Charlie Verts, Hugo Ugachuku, Nick Ilporter, good start for Jimmy James. The Australian up into P8. Just ahead of Marcus Aman, Maya Werg, Conrad Lawson, Martinez Stensone. As they come across the line for the first time, there is the new champion, there is the pole sitter, and there is now the race leader, Andrea Kimi Antonelli Kamada, who gives the slipstream back to Kasper Stuka. Alex Dunn tries to take advantage of the toe from his teammate as Ivan Dominguez pulls out and tries to go past the 96th car, which is the Belgian Jules Castro. The Prema drivers side by side, Charlie Verts and the American Hugo. Almost a replay of what they did yesterday. There's Nick Ilporter just behind. And the US racing driver closes in on the back of the red and white machines. Charlie Verts sideways on the exit. Will lose a few tenths of a second, and critically, some momentum there. There's Meyer in the background. In P10, just holding off Conrad. Martinez up into P12, and Taylor. Again, another storming start for the Brit. There he is. Car 77 up into position 13, ahead of car 33, which is Brando Badue, his Van Amersfoort racing teammate. Emo Fittipaldi's made up 1 position into 15th place. This 41 car field for the penultimate race of the 2022 championship. The field settled down into a nice rhythm here. Antonelli, 8 tenths of a second over his teammate Kamada. Stuka, Dunn, Verts, Ugatuko, Nick Ilporter. There's Maya Werg going through, trying to get by. Race winner from earlier on in the season, Marcus Amand, as we lose Bora. Akshay is out. No front wing on the car 69. So the second Bora brother has retired, and this is the reason why. Oh wow, a big moment there. Into the gravel, there's Peter Bhakti going through. Ethan Aisha into the gravel. And Bora, the innocent victim in that. There is Brando and Emo as they come across the line to complete the second lap. The US racing drivers in 3 and 4. The Prema drivers 1, 2, 5, 6. There is the remaining Bora brother, Nick Hill, just ahead of James Wharton. Marcus Aman, Maya Werg in P10 has done, dives down the inside. The US racing drivers 3 and 4, they trade positions, they almost touch wheels. And Kasper's still fighting for this one. He's on the inside, it becomes the outside. And Alex gets the pass done. Of course, critically, Kamada in second place. Still third in the championship. Second place, the title of vice champion is still on the line here. There's Marcus Amand going through, still holding off Maya Werg. The Iron Dame, there's Charlie Verts, race winner at Monza. Newfound form, newfound confidence for the English-Austrian driver in car 7. A nervous start for Charlie Verts, sideways on multiple corners. And as the cold tyres here this morning, we're just fighting for grip. There's Ivan Dominguez in the background. Portuguese driver, the second Iron Lynx entry, together with Maya on your screen, who locks up the front right. And of course the Tuscan here in Tuscany, Nicola Lacorte. A clean start for the penultimate race of the season as Alex Dunn locks up the front right. The track is still reasonably cool, just 17 or 18 degrees Celsius. It's not a freezing cold morning, thankfully, here in Tuscany at the moment. Certainly will be in a month or so. But the tyres just struggling for grip in the early stages of the penultimate race of 2022 as we look at Martinez with Taylor Barnard just behind the two former WSK Supermaster Series kart racing champions. Taylor Barnard for Team Rosberg, Martinez Tensone. Of course, he won the title following in the footsteps of 2019 Italian F.4 champion Dennis Hauger. The two Norwegian drivers, both incidentally racing for the Ben Amersfoort racing team. And now the former kart racing superstars go side by side. Martinez on the inside, Taylor just holds on, but now loses out track position. And Barnard desperate to get by Stensone. There's Emo just fending off Brando. Nikita Vedran up to 16th from Spinner, and Rinicella, the Sicilian from the Roman, who we heard from on the grid just prior to the start. Valerio Rinicella just speaking with Camilla as one of the cars in the background just kisses the gravel trap. There's your track limits right there and then. Isn't it remarkable when there's grass and gravel on the outside of the circuit? Well, that curse word, track limits, dare I say it out loud? Damn it, I just did. It doesn't become an issue. Self-policing. Something to be said for that. As we go back to this battle between James Wharton, Marcus Amand has gone through. There's Meyer in the background. The two Ferrari juniors, James Wharton and Meyer, almost runs into the back of the Australian. Thus the Belgian-Dutch girl from Benissa in Spain. And Marcus Amand, the French Finn, who's already won a race in 2022 for US Racing, fends off the challenge from both the Ferrari juniors. There's Taylor Barnard, car 77 in the background, chasing them. Another brake lock-up down into turn 15. So we watch this move, Arvid Lindblad on the way through. Wow, what a disaster for Arvid. Stalling off the line and running into the back of Andrea Frassinetti and losing the front wing in the background. Frassinetti slowing after that moment, coming together with one of the Van Amersfoort racing cars, who we believe was Jeff Machiels. Antonelli, the new champion, with a 1:49. Fastest lap of the race, 49.487. Quickest driver on circuit at the moment from Kamada. Good drive from Rafael Kamada here this morning. Hasn't had the best run in the last couple of rounds as Arvid comes down into pit lane. The Van Amersfoort racing team will go to work, stalling off the start. A broken front wing. The former WSK Supermaster Series champion, and Arvid waves to the team that his morning might be done. Here is Andrea Frassinetti down into pit lane, and the car's racing team go to work. Damage after contact between Arvid and Andrea. So now the battle for second place in the race, the battle for second place in the championship. Antonelli has got 1.7 seconds over his teammate. And the Irishman, Alex, is caught up to the back of Kamada. 1/3 race distance as Ethan Eicher, with front right suspension damage, also pulls down into pit lane if he can make it there. Bad luck for the Genza Motorsport team driver. The Swiss driver, the Swiss team, who won the 2016 title with the Argentine Marcus Siebert, who took the title from Mick Schumacher in the final round at Monza, it was 6 seasons ago now. As Antonelli comes across the line, the sun comes out to shine. The penultimate race of the series, and now Kamada gives the slipstream to Alex Dunn. There is Casper going through. Charlie Burtz, Ugachuku, Bora, Aman, James Wharton drops to 9. Maya Werg, the two Ferrari Driver Academy pilots, 9 and 10. As Bora now over the back of Ugo Ugachuku, the two American drivers, 6 and 7. Bora looks good as Arvid steps out of the car. Furious is the Londoner, explaining just what happened, and that was after he stalled off the line. We'll see him back for race 3, the final race of 2022 this afternoon. But for the moment, the Red Bull Junior, his morning is over. Down into pit lane goes Niels Coulin with a broken front wing. So apologies, it was not actually a Jeff Machiels. There's Lindblad to the centre left of your screen. It was Niels Coulin. A DNF yesterday for the Belgian driver. And not the best run here this morning as well. Has just put on a new front wing and as we speak, leaves pit lane at the moment. And we have got for the first time this morning the safety car out on the circuit for Giovanni Maschio. We'll take the lead immediately. It is 1.7 seconds from Antonelli Camara. Keep that in the back of your mind when we do go back at green after we clear the car of Giovanni Maschio, who has beached it in the gravel. And this is how he did it. Frederick Lund just ahead. Oh, wow! Well, that's why Niels Coulin lost the front wing. NASCAR style here at Mugello. Coulin, Maschio, wheel to wheel, wing to wing. And the Italian on debut for RSGP for this, the final round of the series, steps out of the car. Second retirement in 24 hours for Giovanni Maschio. And the safety car is deployed for the first time here this morning. So not quite yet half race distance. Antonelli had a 1.7 second lead. Remember, there is Martini Estensona going through. He's up into 12th place. Unlikely to make the podium here this morning, but you never know. We've still got 18 minutes left to race here. There is Martinius. A fast start from Mark yesterday as they go by the abandoned car of Giovanni Maschio. Third on the podium at Monza. And a fabulous getaway from Stensona yesterday to finish third. Almost caught Alex Dunn, incidentally, in the dying stages of the race. So let's check the order for you. Antonelli with a 1.7 second lead. Obviously, that now evaporates. Kamada in second place. Dunn in third. Stuka 4. Wirtz in P5. The two Americans, Ugachuku and Border, in 6 and 7. Ahmad in 8. Wharton 9. And Maya Werg. The Ferrari Junior rounds out the 10. There she is on screen. Just behind her fellow Ferrari Junior. And housemate as well, James Wharton. There's a story in itself. Apparently James is, yeah, not the best at doing the dishes, nor the washing, nor the cleaning, according to Maya. I'm sure James will hate me for saying that, but I'm sure his grandmother, Sandra, watching down under in Melbourne, will have a good laugh at that. He is slowly getting better at his Italian. The two Ferrari drivers, 9 and 10, the Mercedes AMG Junior, Antonelli in position 1, of course, Andrea Kimi Antonelli, who wrapped up the title yesterday with a fabulous victory, taking the championship in style, becoming just the second Italian to take the championship after Gabriele Mini, who won for the Prima Power team also in 2020. Let's have a look at what's happened so far in the race. Here was Ethan Aisha over the curb into the gravel. Viram Bhakti just going through his Jensen Motorsport teammate, Andrea Frassinetti. Wow, so tried to cover the line of the charging Lindblad, who stalled off the line. That's why the Londoner was furious. Had the run on the exit. Frassinetti trying to defend. And Lindblad lost the front wing. Further down, Niels Coulin also losing the front wing. That would force the Belgian down into pit lane. Frederick Lund on the inside as Jeff Machiels, sorry, it was Niels Coulin coming together with Giovanni Maschio, and the Italian beaching the RSGP car in the gravel, which has brought out the safety car for the first time here this morning. That's Alexander Partishev, the Ukrainian car 23. Now living in Switzerland is Alexander for Jensen Motorsport, where the team is based. The sun comes out to shine halfway through the penultimate race of 2022. great to have your company watching this. The penultimate race of the series, the world's most competitive junior motor racing series. And next year, stand by the 10th edition of the Italian F4 Championship. The calendar has been announced, another fantastic seven-round series. 5 races in the home nation of Italy and 2 international races. We get underway at the home of the former San Marino Formula 1 Grand Prix, now known as the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix. That is April 23, to the eternal city of Rome for round 2 on the 14th of May, to Spa-Francorchamps in Belgium on the 28th of May. Misano, the MotoGP circuit down on the Adriatic coast. That's round 4 on June 23. Paul Ricard, the incredible circuit down in the south of France. Monza, the cathedral of speed. That's the penultimate round as it was this year, as the safety car prepares to pull into pit lane at the end of this lap. And we conclude the 2023 championship, the 10th edition at Mugello, back here on the 1st of October in 2023. Next year, we race the 10th series of this, the Italian F4 Championship, presented as ever since the beginning, since the original car was presented to the motor racing world at La Conca Murolacese World Kart Racing Circuit at the end of 2013, together with the sporting department, ACI Sport, of the Automobile Club of Italy. So the safety car pulls down into pit lane. Good getaway from Antonelli. Remember, his lead was 1.7 seconds. Back to 0, but he's got a good restart. Kamada behind, done in 3rd. The green flag flies, and once again, we race the second half of the penultimate event of 2022. Kamada gets a really good run on the back of his teammate. May get the toe as Antonelli defends. Dunn fans out, takes the racing line. Kamada, Antonelli side by side. Watch Dunn down the inside. The 2 Prema-powered teammates fight amongst themselves as Alex Dunn in the background, in position 3, tries to take it. Bora sideways, defending from Meyerwerg. Antonelli, that 1.7 second lead is down to 0. Kamada right behind. Here comes the kid from County Offaly, 2nd in the series, 3rd in the race. Kamada trying to take the title of vice champion for 2022. But the US racing drivers, Alex Dunn from Ireland, Kasper Stuka from Poland, positions 3 and 4 as Kamada runs ever so slightly wide, and that gives Antonelli, the newly crowned champion, just the breathing space to pull away. Fantastic restart from Kamada. Got the slipstream down into turn 1. Dunn just could not get the track position on a beautiful morning here in beautiful Tuscany. Antonelli, Kamada, Dunn, Stuka, Ukachuku in the background. There's the American from Verts. Amand Wharton moves up by Border, who was sideways off the restart. And Meyer also trying to get by Nikhil Conrad just behind. And Taylor Barnard, position 12. Back underway for the second half of the race. Giovanni Masciol's car has been cleared out of the gravel. And Antonelli, under immense pressure from the restart, Kamada went right with him. But now has pulled out just enough of a gap, just enough breathing space. But Kamada will get it back in the slipstream. Down the start-finish straight, uphill in fact, 232 k's an hour. The fastest speed recorded through the speed trap in qualifying. Stuka now on the back of his teammate Dunn. The Prema Power Team drivers, they were fighting amongst themselves a lap ago. And now it's the US racing drivers. Dunn holds position 3, but he's slow on the exit. He's got track position. Kasper will be getting frustrated. Meyer now all over the back of Nikhil Border. The American defends from the Ferrari Junior. James Wharton, a good restart. He himself is trying to get by the French Finn, Marcus Ahmad. Into the wall, Ismail Ahmed and also Jeff Markels. In fact, as Niels Coulin, apologies. Niels Coulin, the sister Monlau Motorsport car. Coming together, we believe it was Ahmed. No, it was in fact Ricky Lou. A local yellow only for the moment, but before I finish that sentence, it's made redundant because the safety car makes its second appearance here this morning. Niels Coulin in the wall, and this is how it happened. Going round was Taylor. Oh, wow, so that storming drive from the Englishman. A complete 360. Niels Coulin was the innocent victim seemingly in that, and the Belgian into the wall. That's the end of his morning. A big moment for Taylor Barnard. We were just singing his praises a few moments ago. A storming drive yesterday from 20th up into 7th place. He was looking to repeat that performance here this morning, but a complete 360, lucky to be avoided and keep it out of the wall himself. Has dropped down the field though. Taylor Barnard down into 19th, just behind Alexander Partishev, ahead of Arinichella, Dominguez, Klus, Reed, the debutant from Mexico, Carrasquedo. Niels Coulin, the former BNL kart racing champion from the Netherlands. Well, the Benelux series. He is from Belgium, the Dutch-speaking part of Belgium, importantly. Yes, it is important to differentiate between the French-speaking part, where Spa-Francorchamps is, where we raced round 3 in 2023, and also the Flemish region of Belgium. Bad luck for Niels Coulin. We'll see him back for race 3 this afternoon. The order is Antonelli, Kamada, Dan, Stuttgart, Lukaczuk, 5, Bert 6, Aman 7, Wharton 8, Nikhil Border, the remaining Bora brother in P9, and Meyer Werg in position 10, just ahead of Conrad Larsen. There's the Dane in the background. Conrad Larsen in car 20. There's James going through in car 13. Should be a reasonably quick safety car period as we retrieve car 97 out of the wall. If you missed race 1 yesterday, Antonelli took an emphatic victory. What better way to wrap up the title and etch his name into history? Front right of that is fairly well, front left of that. Yes, I know. Looking at it backwards from the screen here. The front left of car 97, substantial damage. Quite a bit of work for the Mondial Motorsport, Van Amersfoort racing teams to do this afternoon to get Niels Coulin back on the grid. The final race of 2022 to take place at 5 o'clock this afternoon. And thankfully the forecast is fine, in complete contrast to the torrential rain which cancelled race 3 at Monza 2 weeks ago. Meyer Werg going through car 83. Part of the Iron Dames Iron Lynx team. Of course, Iron Dames taking a fantastic victory at Portimao in the European Le Mans Series. Her best result earlier on in the season of 6th place. She's in 10th at the moment. Ahead of Conrad Larsen, Martinez Sansone. Emo Fittipaldi, 11th yesterday. He's in position 13 at the moment, just ahead of Brando Badoer. His father Luca racing here in 1991 in the Italian F.4 Championship. There is Emo going through, Brando just behind. Luca racing in the series, 31 years ago, the same year that Prema were on the grid in the Italian F3 series with none other than the great Jacques Villeneuve. Fabulous history here at Mugello. Of course, home of the Italian MotoGP. The circuit built in 1970 to replace the original track, which raced from town to town, had an original length of some 72 kilometers. Yes, you did hear that correctly. Arturo Merzario, the original, still the lap record holder on the original circuit, which is now just the roads between the nearby towns here in Mugello. So the safety car prepares to come in at the end of this lap. So the final sprint to the flag here this morning. Antonelli already champion. Kamada, P2 in the race, P3 in the series. As Valentin Klus going through. just ahead of Jonas Reed, the two German drivers, 22 and 23, ahead of Jesse Carrasquedo and Pedro Perino. Antonelli backs the field up big time, barely walking pace as they round the top part of the circuit through Corantaio, down through Biondetti and into turn 15, Puccin, and turn 15, the final corner, and then the sprint uphill over 1 kilometre in length, the uphill straight here at Mugello. Now Antonelli accelerates. Maschio's car is cleared off the road and the field accelerate. The yellow flag is still flying. They cannot pass until they get to the start-finish line. Antonelli, the new champion, turns in. Great restart from Dunn. He's right behind Kamada. The green flag flies and we sprint to the checkered flag. Race 2, the 2022 championship. Antonelli, Kamada, Dunn pulls out just in time before they cross the line. Side by side, uphill going into turn 1. Kamada on the inside. Dunn darts back. Down the inside, there is no space, and Kamada holds him off. Watch Stuka in the background, though. Will get the run from position 4. There's Marcus Amann from border. Meyerwerk just ahead of Stensone and Fittipaldi. Not the best start for Conrad Larsen. The Dane loses 2 positions to both the Van Amersfoort racing drivers. Just running off the background, off the road, ever so slightly in the background, Nicola Lacorte. The Tuscan up in a position 15. Fabulous drive here. And fortunately doesn't lose too much time. He may pick up another position here as Conrad Larsen on the inside of Brando Badoer. A problem for Marcus Amann. Marcus Amann is dropping down the order, and that problem is a broken front wing. Oh, the French Finn, who was running in position 7, is about to retire, or at best put on a new front wing, as Conrad on the inside and makes it through. Nicely done by the Dane. Takes Nikhil Border. So a messy restart. Marcus Amann was running in 7th place, but will have to pull into pit lane. There is Nicola Lacorte for Team Iron Lynx, storming up through the field. Fabulous drive for the Tuscan here in Tuscany. He's into 13th place. Antonelli, P1, Dunn has gone by into 2nd. That is critical. As Martinius dives down the inside of Meyer, and the Norwegian takes the Iron Lynx driver. Meyerwerk in position 8, make that 9th. As Stensone goes by car 83, but she gets the slipstream coming up the straight. We'll check the top speeds as they go by. 232, the fastest in practice. They're about 4 or 5 off that at the moment. Stensor now on the inside, Meyerwerk on the outside. Behind her is Fittipaldi, who's now inside the top 10. Lacorte on the outside of Brando Badoer. There's the recovering Taylor Barnett, Nikita Vedran, who's had a quiet race, as Alexander Partishev is almost pushed into the gravel. The Roman Rinigella drops back to P18. The dying stages of the penultimate race of 2022. Dominguez takes Rinigella. Nicely done. Ivan Dominguez for Team Iron Lynx, just going through. And his Alfio spinner, the Sicilian, right behind. And Antonelli is looking for a perfect weekend. Up to pole position yesterday in race 1, pole position in race 2 this morning. Marcus Amann steps out of the car, and the French Finn's morning is over. Marcus Amann, who shot to prominence with a victory at Castelletto di Branduzzo in the WSK Final Cup with a win for VDK Racing some 3 seasons ago, as we see Brando lucky to hold on to that. Rallycross from the Venetian. Car 33 rejoins ahead of Lacorte, who's now up into 14th place. Fabulous drive from Nicola Lacorte. Taylor Barnard, what could have been his position behind after that spin. And there's the work going out to Rafa. 2nd place in the championship is on the line. He needs to push, but he's losing time to Dunn. As we lose in the background big time, one of the Jensen Motorsport cars. Ethan Aisha, what an eventful race he's had this morning. Does very well to keep it on circuit. very lucky to get away with that was Ethan Aisha. Lecorte up the inside into turn 1. He's up into 13th, not far out of the points. There is Dominguez just behind, fighting with Nikita Bertrand. Race winner at Paul Ricard. In 2022, Nikita Bertrand, that was with Van Amersfoort Racing on the podium at Vallelunga earlier on in 2022. As Dunny's now starting to pull away from Kamara, second place in the championship. Almost seems certain for the Irishman, pending a good result in the final race of 2022. So last lap, next time round, Antonelli looking for a perfect weekend, but he comes done. Alex is catching him. The gap was 1.5 seconds. It's down to 1.1. Antonelli almost into the gravel. Holds on to it. Under control, Il Bolognese. Done. Second place, the kid from County Offaly. The newly crowned British F4 Series champion. Chasing down yesterday's newly crowned Italian champion, Antonelli, the Mercedes AMG Junior. And as Monsieur Rossin Senior and Mr. Rossin Junior chat on the pit wall, Angelo and Rene. Another fabulous year for the Prema Power team, as their boy comes across the line to get the last lap board. Now the gap stabilizes 1.2 seconds. Surely Antonelli will go 2 from 2. Kamada will start from pole position for race 3, the final race of the season this afternoon. At the moment, the Brazilian in position 3. The gap 1.1 seconds. Antonelli's got this under control. He won't throw it away. It won't be his last race in Formula 4. He'll be representing the Automobile Club of Italy, the sporting division, ACI Sport, at the forthcoming FIA Motorsport Games. And that is likely to be Andrea's last ever F4 race. For Alex in the background, race 3 this afternoon is likely to be his last race. Next year, he'll be racing in the championship. Did the line cut out then? Did you miss that piece of information? I'm so sorry, I cannot tell you. The same for Andrea Kimi Antonelli. He'll be on the grid in the championship. The line keeps cutting out. Stay tuned for big news for both Andrea and Alex in second place. The final few corners, the Mercedes AMG Junior makes his way through pole position yesterday and a race victory on his way to the title. Pole position this morning, 2 safety car interventions, but he's withstood the pressure from both restarts into turn 15 for the final time. The Mercedes AMG Junior, the newly crowned Italian F4 champion, goes 2 from 2. That checkered flag is about to wave. Antonelli wins the penultimate race of the season. Punches the air. It's been a dominant year for Antonelli, and he's won the title in style. Done in second place, and Kamada in P3. So the fight for second place in the championship vice title, it's looking good for Dunn, but it will be decided later this afternoon in the final race of the 2022 season. This was on the very last lap of the race. If we look in the background, into the wall, looked to be one of the RSGP drivers. In fact, it was Frasinetti. So an eventful race for him, into the gravel with Ricky Liu, the Chinese driver, who actually topped the first part of practice on Thursday. First ever race at Monza 2 weeks ago, Ricky Liu, but he ends race 2 in the gravel here. Andrea Kimi Antonelli down into pit lane for his second victory of the weekend. What a deserving champion he is. Nervous scenes yesterday. Camilla speaking to his father Marco during the race. He didn't want to say too much, but now they can celebrate and enjoy another victory with the pressure off car 12. Down into pit lane for the second time in 24 hours. The only other Italian driver to win the series was Gabriele Mini in 2020. Antonelli with the victory, won it by over 3 seconds in the end. Rafael Camara, 3, Stuka, Ugochukwu, Charlie Verts in P6 from James Wharton, Martinius into 8, Maya Work, she was 9, and Emo into the points, the Brazilian in P10. Antonelli, 337 points, 258 to Dunn and 239 to Kamada. So what, 19 points? Just 19 points to second place. And it's looking good for Dunn to take the title of vice champion. One more shot later this afternoon. Antonelli with the victory. We'll try and get a quick word with Alex Dunn in just a moment, who is just so close to taking the title of vice champion. There's Rafael Camara in the background, 19 points behind Alex, going into the final race of the series. And Rene Rossina, a dominant team, a dominant performance in 2022. Andrea Kimi Antonelli, second victory in 2 days. But firstly, let's go down to hear from the Irishman, Alex Dunn, who's just finished in P2.
Alex, second position is a good result. How do you feel this is the last round of the season?
Yeah, I'm really happy. You know, I knew that, you know, the championship is done, but I'm still fighting for second. So I think beating Rafa was really crucial. So yeah, I'm really happy with the result.
What are your plans for the future?
To be honest, I don't know yet. I think the plan is F3, but we'll have to wait and see what happens.
Thank you.
Be assured he's got a very big future in front of him as we take a look at the highlights of race 1. Antonelli from pole position. If we look in the background, Lindblad for the second time stalls off the line and was lucky to be avoided by Ethan Aisha, who would go on to have a very eventful race. Down into turn 1, it was Prema versus US Racing. They scattered uphill into the first curve. And as they exited San Donato, it was Antonelli in position 1, and he would not be headed for the rest of the race. Ethan Aisha, after avoiding Lindblad on the grid into the gravel, Frasinetti and the recovering Lindblad, they came together. They would both ultimately DNF the second race of the morning here. Niels Coulan, almost the innocent victim, in fact he was, avoiding that accident. There's Frasinetti and Coulan. The broken front wing, it would get worse for the Belgian. His second appearance in the F4 Series. Giovanni Maschio into the gravel, and that brought out the safety car. Close to his teammate was Kamada off the line, got the slipstream at over 220 k's an hour up into turn 1. Putting the Mercedes Junior under immense pressure, but Antonelli held his nerve. A wild ride for Taylor Barnard, who was storming through the field, but a complete 360 forced the Englishman back. Dunn tried to take Kamara not once, not twice, but ultimately would go by the Brazilian for second place. Not this time, as Kamara closed the door on the slightly more experienced Dunn. Second year in F4, first year for Rafael Kamara. That was the move. Fabulous pass, and the Irishman went past the Brazilian for PT and P2, and almost certainly P2 in the championship. Antonelli out front, second pole position, second victory, and he is certainly a worthy Italian F4 champion. 1, 2, 3 in the series with 1 race to go, and 1, 2, 3 in the penultimate race of the series. Here at Mugello, race 2, round 7, position 3, O Menino do Brasil. Rafael Kamara in P3, Alex the Irishman in second place, and Antonelli the new champion. Isn't he relieved this morning? The pressure is off, and he certainly enjoyed that. His second win of the weekend, the last round of the series, Mr. Rafael Gianmaria representing the Automobile Club of Italy, awarding the trophies. Rafa, a racing driver of note, and one-time Ferrari test driver. If you count the 3 laps he did in Felipe's car at Yas Marina about a decade ago. The national anthem of Italia. One, two, three in the championship, and they finish 1, 2, 3 in the penultimate race of 2022. Well, the title has already been won by the driver in the center of your screen, Antonelli. But Rafael Camara, he will start from pole position for the final race of 2022. That's at 5 minutes to 5. We hope you can join us. We'll see you for the final race of 2022 this afternoon, live from Mugello. We'll see you then.